This morning we're going to go out and look at the garden. Go through the little patio area here. And I wanted to show you what I had done with the compost. We started burying the compost in this border grass area all around the yard. And also where this lantana is, which also hides our little fence. Now the way we did this is we dug a hole about 18 inches wide and about 18 inches deep, and we dumped just a large amount of compost in there, and then we planted the border grass here. And of course this border grass particularly had never done well, but as you can see this year it's doing very, very well. Now this lantana and border grass that we planted, we dug a very wide area up here and filled it completely full of compost, and then we planted the lantana. And you can see the lantana is quite beautiful now. And I also might add that we have never watered this, because with all the compost in there it will definitely hold the moisture. Here's our little garden gate. We built this year to make sure we kept the dogs out of the garden area. Now this first row, right up next to the garage, is lantana. Let me get through the gate here. This next row is bush beans. Let's see if we can see some beans in here. Oh yeah, look at that. Now these have never been watered, and this is June 26th today, and the compost is buried in the same way here by digging a trench and then filling over the top with regular soil. And these are the pole beans here. This is a row of peppers. Look at my nice pepper. All of them have peppers. Now they've kind of fallen over. This one has a little bit because we had about 2 inches of rain last night. And here are the tomatoes. These tomato vines were planted much later, and these right here even later still. Now here are the squash and the cucumbers. Over here in this area is this is basil, and this is dill. I just planted those a couple of weeks ago. Of course, I started them several weeks ago. Let you see the little fence area and the lantana. Doesn't that look pretty? And it's sort of hiding the fence from the view from the yard. And there's the back, or the right side of our house. And there's the back. And there's that really old garage again. In this area, compost is buried. It's just one huge thing of compost. Now I started putting down the wax-coated boxes in the area right around our compost bin, so grass and whatever wouldn't grow up in it. Now here are the compost bins. They're completely empty now, except for leaves from the yard, from our river birch, which shed a lot of leaves even in the summertime. So we're giving our compost bins a little rest of about 2 months. Here's the north compost bin with just the leaves and some of the grass. Now, see the area over there under those crepe myrtle trees is where we're dumping our grass so it will dry out, and then we'll use that in between the layers when we start composting again, which should be July 1. Now here are my tomato plants. You can see some really big tomatoes. And of course they've been staked, but they've fallen over. I estimate the vines were 8 to 10 feet tall. And of course there's no way to stake them up that tall. So you see they've fallen over, but they still got tomatoes on them. There's a whole group of tomatoes getting ready to be ripe. And there's one lone cucumber vine right at the top of that fence. Look at that. So if you remember when I last recorded, I was standing over here and we had stumps in the ground there, and my husband got all those out. There were 4 of them. We put up the fence to keep the dogs out. So when we got the garden planted a little later than we wanted to this year. So this area here, we have been composting directly into the ground by digging out a trench and just dumping the stuff in, chopping it a little bit and covering it over with dirt, which will compost just as well as putting it in these bins. But we wanted to give our bins a little bit of a rest. And there you can still see some of the leaves we've got left to use this summer. Again, there's the dill. We love dried dill on fish and stuff when we have fish, which isn't very often. There's the beautiful lantana again. Isn't that gorgeous? There's our fig tree. As you can see, when all the leaves are on everything, you can hardly even tell there's compost bins there. Here's the rest of the garden. There's some little bitty tomatoes up at the top. And again, the pole beans. We have not been able to get any pole beans yet, but we've picked the beans from this row right here about 3 times. And usually what we pick is enough for us to have a couple of meals. Again, the garden is, this whole area is totally filled with compost, and then we've got the regular dirt over the top. That's cilantro, and I planted it there close to the garage because it doesn't like a lot of sun. And this right here is tarragon. I actually bought that at Lowe's, so it's spread out a whole lot. Now, we're going to leave the garden area, and I'm going to show you that while we were letting our compost bins rest, we've been composting in this area here. Now this is just regular dirt over the top, but underneath there's tons and tons of compost. We did the same thing right here. And you can see from the compost, we got what looks like cantaloupes coming up. So we'll have to take care of that. Again, look at all the border grass, particularly that area over there. The border grass just looked terrible. But now it's all come out beautifully with the compost all in the ground. All right, that's it.